New York Times labor dispute is now in its fourth day, and more troubled times overnight for drivers trying to deliver the Sunday paper. Many people got only part of the Sunday Times. Some didn't get a paper at all. Carlos Granda joins us now from in front of the New York Times offices in Midtown with more. Carlos?
Diana, there are a few officers patrolling the building here in Midtown Manhattan, but there have been no problems here. However, 3 strikers were arrested on Long Island this morning for allegedly throwing rocks at a delivery truck. It's the latest incident in this labor dispute, and those tactics have appeared to cause problems, distribution problems, on Friday, Saturday, and again this morning. New York Times officials say copies of the Sunday Times made it to all distribution centers in Farmingdale and New Rochelle, but from there only about half made it out to the readers.
Not a very good situation, is it?
That's the way most customers felt at O'Neill's Country Store in Mamaroneck. Normally here they sell 450 copies of the Sunday Times. Today they only had a few sections of the paper. Frank Brown still paid full price for the arts and leisure section, the book review, the Times Magazine, and some sales flyers.
I think it stinks. I really think it's horrible. You'd think that a person would be able to get a newspaper on a Sunday.
Home delivery wasn't any better.
We received the lifestyle section to the paper.
And that's it?
Yeah, just the lifestyle section.
Have you been trying to get the rest?
Well, you can't.
It was the same story throughout some of the suburban area. In Massapequa on Long Island, there were few papers to be found. We went to a dozen stores in Mamaroneck and New Rochelle and Westchester, and no one had a complete paper. Most had none at all. At Westfair Distributors, the atmosphere was like that of an armed camp. Dozens of security guards patrolling the entrance. Yesterday, a delivery truck had its cargo torched, and this morning, one person was arrested after ramming this car into 2 delivery trucks. It's a very tense situation. Store owner Charles O'Neill found out just how tense it is when he saw a distribution truck and sent an employee to ask if the paper would be delivered.
There were 2 people in the truck, a map reader and a driver. When he approached the truck, 2 other men that were in a wagon, station wagon behind them, pulled abruptly up to them and got out. I guess they were security guards for the truck, and approached him, asking him, you know, what did he want? What was he approaching the truck about?
Customers who looked forward to a Sunday afternoon of reading weren't very happy at all.
We like having the paper first thing in the morning. We like, if we can't get it, we'll go out to go get it, and if it's not available, we have to use the other newspapers that are there.
A judge has issued a restraining order against the union to keep workers from interfering with the paper's distribution. A hearing is set for tomorrow to determine if the union violated that order. Reporting live from Midtown Manhattan, I'm Carlos Granda, Channel 7.
New York and Connecticut did not get the Times' biggest issue of the week this morning, the Sunday edition. Channel 2's Tiwa Chang is at the newspaper distribution center in New Rochelle with the latest. Tiwa?
Well, Diana, there are only a few union drivers picketing behind me, but their union today effectively stopped the delivery of the New York Times to this area. Now, the strike is in its 4th day. The strike is by these union drivers against the owner of this wholesale distribution center, not directly against the New York Times. The owner of this center, Arthur Imperatore, who recently bought this center in New Rochelle, as well as one in Farmingdale, Long Island, offered a contract which the union drivers do not like. It basically would cut their salary in half to about $40,000, as well as cut a third of their workforce. And although it's not directly against the New York Times, the strike in effect is.
Got a Times? No New York Times, sir. Sorry.
The Ardsley Luncheonette in Westchester County was minus the area's Sunday newspaper of choice. The luncheonette's 500 copies of the New York Times ended up early this morning, strewn about the parking lot, and then cleaned up into garbage bags.
I was here at 7 o'clock for the Times, and I tried a half dozen other stores and no Times.
Only 17,000 of 93,000 papers headed for Westchester County and Connecticut newsstands made it today, though 2 of 3 home deliveries did. For businesses dependent on the customers coming in for the Times, it meant the loss of hundreds of dollars.
This place is used to full, and plus the people waiting in line to pay for the newspaper. We sell 500 newspaper every day.
Other stores in Westchester County also did not have the New York Times. And in Long Island, not one newspaper out of 118,000 bound for newsstands there made it. The Times ended up taking back their still full trailers.
We're not going to accept the deal and then throw out 40 to 41 of our members immediately. There's no way. That's not what unions are about and what they stand for.
A New York Times spokeswoman said the strike was between the wholesaler, Arthur Imperatore, and the drivers' union. There was also a dispute between the union membership and its leadership. The Times was not involved. And the Times could be losing as much as $1 million today in this dispute. And longtime labor advisor Theodore Keel says the New York Times is involved very deeply because what happens to these drivers could affect 2 wholesale distribution centers the Times may buy in the future.
They're not involved in what Mr. Imperatore is doing, but what he is doing is something they have a right to do at the 2 locations that they've purchased. They negotiated the same contract together, and they face exactly the same problem.
The New York Times spokeswoman also noted that a federal arbitrator has supported the wholesale distributor's right to change the union contract, and they plan to go to court about it again. Meantime, union leaders say there'll be more of the same tomorrow for New York Times delivery, and they expect to seek arbitration. Reporting live from New Rochelle, Tiwa Chang, Channel 2 News. Now back to the studio.
Okay, thank you, Tiwa. In Brooklyn, union workers keep thousands of Sunday Times out of the hands of suburban readers this morning. Our Glenn Thompson was at the picket lines talking to those very angry drivers.
Another night of heated conflict on Long Island as the New York Times delivery strike enters its 3rd day. 3 strikers arrested early this morning for tailing and throwing rocks at a New York Times delivery truck. And an East Farmingdale man arrested for intentionally driving his car into 2 tractor trailers. He told police he had family members who work at the distributor. The bitter dispute pitting union delivery drivers against non-union drivers crossing picket lines. The union negotiating with the Times, which is taking over 2 distributors, rejecting an offer which would give more control to management and halve some of the drivers' salaries. Strikers today denying that some union members were resorting to violence.
If any violence is in there, they're the ones that's carrying the guns around, not me.
They're the ones that locked us out. They bought the business. It's an asset sale. They say, you're a liability. We don't need you no more. You want to work for us? You work for $10, $8 an hour.
While the delivery picture is said to have improved since yesterday, newspaper stands like this one in Long Island still find themselves coming up empty.
It's supposed to be one of the more fit newspapers to read in this area. And if they're having union problems, maybe they should take the time out to straighten them out.
Despite the strike, the newspaper distributor company in East Farmingdale, which serves Nassau and Suffolk counties and parts of Queens, managed 37,000 deliveries, still substantially less than the normal 62,000 on a regular Sunday. Westchester and Connecticut newsstands receiving 17,000 papers, down from the usual 90,000 on Sunday. The heated walkout angering all sides in the dispute, with no end in sight. On Long Island, I'm Glenn Thompson, Channel 11 News at 10.
Times today. The paper says deliveries were down about 50%, all because of that labor dispute between union drivers and a private company that distributes the paper to those areas. This morning, there was more violence related to the strike, and 3 strikers were arrested for allegedly throwing rocks at the Times trucks. And newsstands on Long Island didn't get any papers at all.
A couple people asked, where are the Times this morning? We just told them because of the strike, we didn't get any papers.
A hearing is set for tomorrow to determine if the union has violated a temporary
labor dispute. Channel 2's Tiwa Chang has the latest now from the Times Manhattan headquarters. Tiwa, are the papers rolling?
Well, Reggie, they are rolling, but apparently the trucks have not left yet here on 43rd Street. The delivery trucks are still sitting here. Normally they would be rolling, an indication there may be a possible slowdown. It's not clear at this point. In any case, it's all revolving around what the company calls a strike and what the union calls a lockout, involving a wholesale distributor in the suburbs. So that this, Monday's edition of the New York Times, may be pretty scarce on the newsstands tomorrow in Long Island, Connecticut, and Westchester County.
Times? No New York Times, sir. Sorry.